Hello and welcome to computer class. My name is Dave, and today we'll be talking about storage. No, not really. Not this type of storage. This type of storage. Memory versus storage. And so I want to give you two terms right off the bat. The first is memory or short-term storage. I can't talk. And the second is storage or long-term storage. And so what's the difference? Well, there's two components of your computer that have to do with um, storing data. And the first is the RAM, or the random access memory. It's the short-term storage of your computer. And what it does is it loads a program into the RAM, and then when your computer is turned off, it terminates everything on the device. So you've probably experienced this when you open a Word document and you don't save it and you shut your computer down, it deletes the file because you didn't save it into your hard storage. It's just in your RAM. So any program that is loaded in there that's opened and you didn't save the file, it obviously gets deleted. Um, but long-term storage is where we save. It's known as our hard disk or hard memory. It's where we save our files after we create them. So if you're in Word, you hit File Save, you stick it on your hard drive, right? That's this thing right here. And for future use, you can get a hold of any of your files later, even when the computer is shut down and you boot it back up, it's still there. So that's kind of the distinction between the two, memory versus storage. They're two different devices, and they do two similar things, but different things. One's short term, one's long term. All right, so next slide says, what is a storage device then? Well, a storage device records or writes and or reads items to and from a storage media. So an example of this would be a DVD drive or DVD player. It's just a storage device, and then a DVD is a storage medium or storage media. And DVD is hard storage, like it's, you know, going to keep your files for forever as long as they're on there, right? As long as you don't go on that DVD and burn over top of it or delete everything off of it, it's going to stay on there. It's kind of like it stores things forever. It's a storage device. So it's a hard media in that sense. Okay. And then there's the computer's hard drive or internal storage, which we just talked about. This storage device contains one or more inflexible circular platters that use magnetic particles to store data, instructions, and information. It's basically an airtight device that's enclosed and sealed in there to protect the platters so that no dust particles can get in there and damage it, no water, no anything should contaminate these platters that are in there. People often call this a fixed disk because it's a hard disk. It's not really portable. You can't just like take this out of your computer and walk around with it. It's not like a flash drive. It's in the computer. You'd have to unscrew it and pop it off, and to change it out, it's not the easiest thing to change out, though it can be changed out. Um, it's known as a hard disk. Mainly used mainly in laptops and desktop computers. Okay, so that's mainly what this is for. The next to that is and this should be noted that a hard disk is otherwise known as something called an HDD or hard disk drive. Okay, so you have HDD is the hard disk drive, the one that spins and has this kind of finger that reads the platter. And then an SSD is a storage device that typically uses flash memory to store its data. Okay, and flash memory means that it doesn't contain any moving parts. And the abbreviation for this one we would use is SSD. So the other one was HDD, this one's SSD. And it's more durable, kind of. That's the benefit of it. It's the newer hard drives that are out, relatively newer, um, and they're faster. So if you buy a computer, you kind of want it to have an SSD in today's world. You don't want it to have a hard disk drive. And if it does as a secondary drive, that's fine. But it's nicer to have the flash memory because it's quicker on boot up and transferring files and different things. Okay, and then the third one is a little guy. I mean, it can't be more than like this big, most of them, and it's called the M.2 SSD. And the M.2 is basically a solid state drive. So it's similar to this in the sense that it uses flash memory, um, but is designed for high performance storage. It's super thin, super portable, it's put into like really thin laptops such as ultrabooks and tablet computers. And what it's allowed a lot of people to do is high-end gaming. So I stick them in my gaming computers, and they are faster, like way faster than the hard disk drive, faster than the SSD drive. They are one of the fastest um, hard drives on the market today. So if we're going to talk about internal storage, there are three types: HDD, SSD, and M.2. Really are the three contenders. And this one is the highest performing and the most recent hard drive out, type of hard drive out. And so here's kind of a performance and average performance, not like to the T. I mean, I think you could shift these numbers around a little bit, but on average, here's how they stack up against each other. You got 200 megabytes per second on your HDD. It's really, really slow. It's spinning and reading this data off of it magnetically. And then we've got the chips, who are just like, a little bit faster. SSD, maybe 600 megabytes per second, maybe 700 if it's really fast. Um, and then, 3,500 megabytes per second or higher, up to the 4,000 megabytes per second, which equals 4 gigabytes per second, possible if we utilized all the capacity of the M.2. And we're not yet, but if we were, theoretically, we could get 4 gigabytes per second performance speed out of this thing. It's an unbelievable hard drive, and you can see it's like 10 times the speed of like the SSD. Like that's insane, right? Imagine if someone's like, hey, this hard drive, you could double the speed. You get an SSD, and then they're like, hey, if you have this SSD, we could 10 times the speed for the M.2. It's like, what? So how slow is this? Yeah, it's pretty slow. That's the honest truth. But a lot of people are still using this for some odd reason. I don't even know. Anyway, then there's external storage, or what we call storage media, and these consist of there's these specific external hard drives that people buy to back up their computers. They are separate, portable, freestanding hard disks that usually connect to the computer with a cable. Okay, and again, what people do is they make a backup of their computer. It's very important. I'm going to talk about this at the end of the lesson, to back up your computer's data and stick this storage media in a fire safe or in a secure location where there's not going to be any water, or there's not going to be any fire, there's not going to be anything that could damage the hard drive, because this is your backup of the data that you have. And data's precious to us. So we want to keep track of it and not lose it. So you can either back it up online, or in cloud storage, or you can back it up on a external hard disk. Totally recommend getting that. However, flash drives are getting to be really big nowadays. I actually have a 512 gig flash drive right now, and there's way bigger ones. There's 3 terabyte flash drives nowadays that you can buy. 2 terabyte flash drive, 1 terabyte flash drive. I mean, you could basically back your computer up on your flash drive. But these USB drives, and the ones I recommend, if you want to know, are the Patriot ones. This is a Rage by Patriot supersonic flash drive. I actually recommend that anybody get one of these. And these transfer, I don't know, it's like 400 megs a second. It's really fast, and you can buy pretty big ones, like 512 gig terabyte ones of these. And you could back your computer up on this, or you can use it as portable storage media to transfer files between computers, whatever you want to do with it. These are really, really cool little pieces of storage media. So again, hard storage is what we should say. That's what we call them, USB flash drives. And then, among other things, we have memory cards, which are removable flash memory used really in devices such as a computer or printer. That's known as a memory card, and sometimes people stick them in their phones, little tiny things. But then there's the SD card, which is a secure digital card, and the way you know the difference is it'll have like that little lock on the side. You can actually see it on my slide there. There's a little lock you can like pull down, and it's really used for digital cameras and video camcorders and handheld computers and different things. Audio players, mobile phones sometimes take the micro SD cards and such. So again, different storage media for all different types of devices. As you can see on screen, there's a reader there. That's how you actually read the SD card in a computer for your camera and the like. Okay, so anyway, that's two other external storage media. Then we have optical discs, as I talked about a little bit earlier. It's a type of storage media that consists of a round, portable metal disc. Um, could be metal, plastic, lacquer, and it's written and read by a laser. Literally, there's like a little um, arm that comes over and just reads the optical disc with a laser. It's pretty neat, honestly. Your mouse also works with a laser, by the way. Side note. But anyway, a DVD standing for digital versatile disc or digital video disc. There's a debate on that. I have no idea which is correct. Honestly, from my research, digital versatile disc seems to be the one that everybody holds to, but it could be the other one. Needless to say, I'm not going to discount it. Can hold about 4.7 gigabytes in total. Some of them have dual layers and they can hold about 8.5 gigs. Then you have a CD, which stands for compact disc, and that can hold about 737 megabytes, give or take some. And then you have the BD or Blu-ray disc, and again, I have pictures of each one of them there. Um, and that can hold 25 gigabytes on a single layer disk and 50 gigabytes on average again on a dual layer disk. So wow, I mean if you really wanted to store something back in the day, again DVDs are sort of going out, and of course CDs are way in the past, but you can still store stuff on these. I know people who give pictures to people on a DVD or a CD even or a Blu-ray disc, or they burn movies for somebody and they give them a DVD, or you buy a DVD in the store. So this is kind of what they hold. They hold external storage media or storage media that's hard media for the future. Okay. That being said, moving on to something a little more on the server side of things or on the IT side of things, there's something known as driver RAID, or redundant array of independent disks. And basically what this is um, a RAID drive stripes data across multiple hard disks, and if one drive fails, then the remaining hard disks still contain a backup of the information. So it's kind of hot swap. Like this machine is holding multiple hard drives, perhaps 4, perhaps 5, 6, 25. It can have as many as you want. It just depends on the setup that you pick, and they will stripe the data across it. So if like two of them fail, then you'll have an extra copy. You can set up drive of RAID to not be to where you have multiple copies, but the majority of people do. Um, anyway, you can also write information to these disks simultaneously. This makes the process of writing to the RAID drive very fast. So tends to be that way. This is a video I'm going to link down in the description all about RAID 0, 1, and 10, the different types of RAID that are out there. Again, the reason there's different types of RAID is because one of the types, specifically, you would just have, all the hard drives are one big hard drive. Essentially what RAID is it makes all hard drives, like let's just say you had 10 of them, all 10 of them would be one big hard drive if you wanted it to be. Or you could make all 10 of them into two separate hard drives that back up each other, or you could make, three striped with, you can do different setups. This guy talks about the different types of RAID setups that you can set up. So go ahead and watch that video in the description. All right. Moving on, what is cloud storage? I know I kind of mentioned this before, but cloud storage, because we're in a lesson on storage, is an internet service that provides storage to your computer users. And cloud storage companies include Google Drive, Microsoft OneDrive, um, you know, all sorts of different ones, Dropbox, iCloud, on and on it goes. Okay, so there's lots of different storage companies out there. And basically, what I've told you guys in the past is that cloud storage is you storing your files on someone else's computer. And so that's essentially what it is. Those companies have a whole bunch of hard drives, and they're allowing you to store your data on their hard drives. In case anything happens to your computer, you drop it, you break it, professionals are handling your files, and that's the idea behind cloud storage. So anyway, lastly, we have some tips for backing up your computer. And before I say that, what is a backup? It's a duplicate of the content on your storage medium that you can use in case the original is damaged, lost, destroyed, whatever the case may be. Okay, so here's my tips for backup, and then I'm going to show you how to back up, and we'll be done. Uh, my answer is do it regularly. I have multiple copies of my computer's hard drive. I have one in the cloud. I have one on an external hard disk, and I actually have it right here, sitting here. Here is an external hard drive that I have, and I back up my computer. I think it's 1 terabyte maybe. I back it up regularly, and so definitely do that. Store a copy of your computer maybe in a fire safe or an offsite location. I have backup of my computer at work, so that's nice to do. Store your hard drive in a climate controlled environment. Don't leave it downstairs in a damp basement or something, or you know, laying out in the rain. I don't know why I found a hard drive one time just laying out in the rain. That is not the best decision for your hard drive. Let me tell you, it doesn't work after that. So anyway, so let's talk about how to back up your computer's hard drive. So what you want to do is you want to plug in your external hard drive to your computer. Go to this PC, and here this is a flash drive. I'm just using it as an illustration to back up my computer, but you could use maybe something that's a little bigger than this, like a hard drive, and maybe you would have like, I don't know, 500 gigabytes here. I only have 29. But what I would do is I would make a folder and entitle it, um, your name, David's underscore backup, and then give the date 09/14/20. And inside there, you can back up the different sections of your computer. So you have documents. You could just copy all of your documents and highlight them. Press Control C, go over to back to your this PC, click on the hard drive, go into the backup, and create a folder entitled Documents, right? And then go in there and Control V the documents in there. Now I don't know if I can possibly do that. I don't think it's actually going to work. Here I could do my photos. That would be something easy to do. Then I could do one entitled Photos, one entitled Video. Yeah, different. Oops. One entitled, you could back up your downloads or whatever you want to back up. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so let's just say I did photos. I could go to my photos here and grab all the different photos that I have and Control V and back it up in there. And then it would be on this hard drive. So I would have the different sections in this backup. And then the next time I come on here and I want to create another backup, new folder, David's backup, the new date, and then I could delete the old folder and not save that one. And thus creating subsequent backups constantly. Okay, so that's how you create a backup for your computer, and the majority of the time it is good to have at least 1 or 2 copies of your hard drive for the sake of data recovery in case anything goes wrong. But again, you want to back up all the places that you store stuff. If you store stuff on the desktop, then you want to back that up. If you store stuff in downloads, you want to back that up. If you store stuff in documents, pictures, video, wherever you do, just back it up. All right. So hopefully this video has been helpful, and I will see you in the next video.